What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video. The Las Vegas Raiders are in serious trouble. Let's talk about it. Before I jump into that, anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, let's jump right into it. So the Las Vegas Raiders have officially hit rock bottom in this 2022 NFL season, getting absolutely dominated by the New Orleans Saints 24-0. Now, for the Raiders to get shut out, for them to not be able to put any single points against a bottom of the league ranked defense with a head coach in Josh McDaniels, who's supposed to be an expert when it comes to the offensive side of the football, with a quarterback in Derek Carr that is in his 9th season already. So this guy is not a young pup. He is a veteran who just got a 3-year, $121 million extension with offensive talent like Davante Adams at the wide receiver position, a true #1 wide receiver, which for the longest time a lot of people were defending Derek Carr, saying he needs a true #1 wide receiver for him to be able to take this team to the next level. Well, we got him, and this game Derek Carr was only able to get him the ball once for 3 yards. Also with Darren Waller, a guy who just got extended as well, who hasn't been able to stay on the field. This just shows how pathetic this team was. The Raiders are now 2-5, and any chance of the playoffs, which at least for me was the expectation for this team on this season, are now very slim. Ultimately, the Raiders are in a terrible situation due to the way this team was constructed and the leadership on this team. The Raiders are currently in what I like to call mediocrity hell. We aren't good enough to contend in the NFL, but we're also not in a rebuilding stage where we have a lot of draft capital and cap space to build, where we just have a lot of flexibility to build a competitive roster, to completely change this regime, to build something moving forward for this team. The Raiders are stuck in the middle, which is one of the worst positions you can find yourself as a professional sports franchise. The Raiders are a team that has millions of dollars invested into the offensive side of the football. As I mentioned earlier, we just extended players on offense who haven't been producing this season. And with our team being built with such a high investment on the offensive side of the football, it really starts with 2 guys on the offense, in my opinion. First, quarterback Derek Carr. Now, Derek Carr played absolutely terrible against the New Orleans Saints. This guy threw for 101 yards and had a terrible interception for a quarterback who is in his 9th season. This is not acceptable. This is a veteran quarterback who, let's be quite honest, man, this is not the first time Derek Carr has had a terrible game like this. If we're being honest, Derek Carr has one of these games at least once a year. Look back to 2019 when we played the Jets, 2020 against the Falcons, last year against the Chiefs. You know, every year Derek Carr has at least one game where he looks absolutely terrible. And if we're being honest, Derek Carr has been average in all 7 games of this season, and even dating back to the end of the 2021 season when we went on that 4-game winning streak to sneak into the playoffs, when we made that playoff push. But if you look closely, you know, this offense was ran through Josh Jacobs and this run game, and that's really the trend that has continued going on through the season. This offense has been built around the running game, not around Derek Carr. And honestly, at times of this season, it kind of looks like Derek Carr is just declining as a player overall, as a quarterback. At this stage of his career, I think, there is no more excuses for this guy. We got him one of the best wide receivers in all of football. Not only that, his best friend Davante Adams, and somehow he's having one of his worst seasons in his career. As I mentioned earlier, Davante Adams was only able to get the ball for a 1 reception for 3 yards. That is unacceptable for this offense. At this point, it looks like Derek Carr is playing like a game manager, and moving forward, if the Raiders are going to continue to pay Derek Carr approximately $40 million per year with his extension that he got just to be a game manager, we're going to be stuck in this mediocrity hell. At this point, we might as well look for a cheaper option at quarterback. Look for a rookie who can just be a game manager and who will have a higher upside than Derek Carr and will just be on a much cheaper contract. Or you can look for a bridge quarterback just to be a game manager for a year or 2 while you also draft a quarterback, let him sit for a year or 2. Now, I think the Raiders are going to be forced to make this decision when it comes to Derek Carr and the quarterback position this offseason. The Raiders in 2023, we can part ways with Derek Carr, and it'll only have a $5.6 million cap hit, or we can even wait till 2024 would only be a $3.75 million cap pick. Also, let's remember Derek Carr has a no trade clause with his new extension that he got. But maybe there's a possibility our general manager Dave Ziegler and Carr can work out some type of agreement and where we can ship out Derek Carr to a team that he would be comfortable playing with. Now, being realistic, I don't think that will happen. But regardless of whether we trade Derek Carr or whether we keep him for another year or two, I think the Raiders right now, we have to already start looking at some quarterbacks, start scouting for quarterbacks in this 2023 NFL draft to be the future replacement of Derek Carr, to be the future quarterback for this team moving forward. Some of the top quarterbacks in this draft currently is the Ohio State quarterback CJ Stroud. There's also Bryce Young from Alabama, Will Levis from Kentucky. At this point, it's too early to predict what quarterback we can draft, whether or not we're going to have a high enough draft pick to get one of these top prospects. But I think regardless, the Raiders need to draft a quarterback in 2023 or 2024, or maybe even both. Quarterback, maybe one year you get a late round quarterback, and then maybe the other year if there's a early round prospect that you think can be the future on this team, you gotta pull the trigger on it. Ultimately, man, this is to replace quarterback Derek Carr. Look, it just hasn't worked out with us and Derek Carr. We've tried so many things with Derek Carr. We've tried to invest a lot of money in the offensive line to give him more time. That didn't work out. We invested in a top tier wide receiver in Davante Adams. It's not working out currently. I think we all can agree that Derek Carr is not an elite quarterback, and I think it's very tough to win in the National Football League unless you have one of those top tier quarterbacks. If you don't have one of those top tier quarterbacks, one of those elite talents, those superstar quarterbacks, you really have to have a great defense and overall just be able to construct a great roster, a great team to build around the quarterback. Now, that's going to be very hard to do with a veteran quarterback that's going to get close to $40 million per year. Really, our best bet if we wanted to do that is to get a rookie quarterback, get him on a rookie contract, and try to build around him. And then, hopefully you can hit on the quarterback and he can be a potential superstar wide receiver. But, that's tough to do. But the point is, man, I think when it comes to Derek Carr, we know what we have with Derek Carr. I think we can expect that with Derek Carr moving forward, we aren't going to be able to contend for a Super Bowl. And ultimately, that should be the goal for this team. Now, if we draft a quarterback this offseason, you can potentially still keep Carr around to help with the development of the rookie quarterback. Or, if you choose to cut ties with him to get rid of that contract, you can just look for a bridge quarterback to fill in for a year or two. Now, this video isn't completely here to bash on Derek Carr. I also have to say something about head coach Josh McDaniels. Look, same kind of story with Josh McDaniels, man. This guy is not a rookie head coach. This is his second stint as a head coach. With Denver, it went terrible for him, and so far with the Raiders, it's going terrible as well. And with some of the play calls he's been making, some of the crucial decisions he's been making, look, at times he looks like he's a rookie head coach still. Also, I wouldn't be shocked if Josh McDaniels has lost the locker room. Look, it looks like there's early signs that Josh McDaniels is losing this team, losing the locker room. You look at the way they just came out today, how flat they played. It looked like they didn't come prepared, didn't come motivated. This team really showed no heart, no desire to win this game. Also, you can see on the sidelines, Davante Adams very frustrated, where he clearly says, "I'm done" on the sideline last game. You combine this with a terrible effort, I think it's going to be a real uphill battle for Josh McDaniels to be able to turn this thing around. I don't think Josh McDaniels is going to get fired immediately. I think he's going to last the full season, but I think in this offseason too, we also have to make a big decision on the head coach. I think we really have to consider firing Josh McDaniels this offseason. Just essentially cut all ties completely, rebuild this coaching staff. Look, Mark Davis just has to realize he made the wrong choice hiring this guy as head coach. Now with the general manager Dave Ziegler, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Me personally, I wouldn't mind keeping him around, but at the same time, it might be a situation where they come as a package deal. If that's the case, I would move on from Dave Ziegler as well. So as I mentioned earlier, the Las Vegas Raiders are in big trouble. The Raiders really have huge question marks when it comes to the most important positions on a football team, the head coach and the quarterback, which is the most important position in all of football. I think it's safe to say that the Raiders are in big trouble, and it'll likely be a long season, and it'll be a very crucial and a very busy off season for this team. Also, I wonder what happens with Davante Adams, especially if the Raiders decide to move on from Derek Carr. We know a big reason Davante Adams was willing to come over here was to reunite with his best friend, with his former college quarterback in Derek Carr. Look, personally, I don't think Davante Adams will automatically want to leave if Derek Carr leaves. I think Davante Adams is a true professional, and I think he can understand that Derek Carr has not been getting it done for this team. I just think that Davante Adams, he would want to see a clear direction for this team moving forward, and he'll have to believe in the direction that our GM is heading with this team moving forward. Also, you look at it, Davante Adams, it's a great situation for him. He gets to live closer to his family. Las Vegas, let's be honest, is a very good location for a professional athlete. So I don't think if Derek Carr leaves, it'll be an automatic guarantee that Davante Adams will be unhappy, that he'll request a trade. I think you just have to sell him on a direction of this team moving forward. But ultimately, man, the future of this team is very much uncertain. The Raiders are in big trouble, but at the end of the day, something needs to change, especially being located in Las Vegas. We've seen the home field advantage in this new stadium hasn't been great. It's just only going to get worse if you can't win. Being in a big market like Las Vegas with a new stadium, with all the money that's been invested, with trying to establish a new fan base in a new city, you have to win. You have to be competitive. If you can't do that, the Raiders will continue to lose relevancy in the city of Las Vegas. So Mark Davis really needs to make some big decisions for this team moving forward. We have to find a way to turn things around as soon as possible. But as I mentioned, there are big question marks for this team at the most crucial positions. So we'll just have to see what happens, Raider Nation. But let me know in the comment section down below what you think we should do with this team moving forward. That being said, Raider Nation, that is all I have for you guys in today's video. Anybody that is new to the channel and you guys love Raiders related content like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.